This is Chad with Geeks and Wives and Capes again. I'm here right now with Gail Simone, and if you guys don't know who Gail Simone is, you haven't been listening to our podcast. We're huge fans of Gail's, and I want to thank you first, Gail, for taking the time to talk with us and letting our fans get to ask some questions. Actually, most of these questions are from our fans and some of our comic editors and stuff like that over Twitter.
Chad, hi, geeks, wives, capes, all the things I love, right?
It's great. Yeah, we're just a bunch of guys that love to sit around and girls and talk about comic books, and we write and we do comic reviews. We've actually done a ton of reviews, very positive reviews on your books. So that's why it's amazing that we get a chance to talk to you today. So one of the questions that we had was, what was the moment in your life or the event in your life that inspired you to want to be a comic book writer? Because as I understand it, you kind of started out as a hairdresser. How does a hairdresser become one of the upper echelon A++ comic book writers?
Well, it sounds really weird, but I had a career, I had a salon, and I just came to a point in my life where it was suggested to me that I do something else creative other than hair. And so I sat down and thought about, well, what can I do? I definitely can't sew. I truly can't draw. And just a long list of things I can't do. And then I thought, well, I think I can write. I said I wanted to be a writer when I was a kid. I got sidetracked. Let's try that. And I just started writing parody pieces just for my own amusement. And that kind of caught on and led to a weekly column, which led to writing Simpsons comics because of the humor, and then Deadpool, and then Birds of Prey with DC, and that's kind of the chronology of that.
And as far as more recently, you're probably best known for Batgirl, right? And events that happen there, and creative differences and stuff like that. But recently you've moved into Tomb Raider, and that's actually one of the comics we've been talking about on our podcast. And we do have a video game podcast where obviously we've talked about the game.
Oh, okay.
And we
Fantastic
do have the
game.
comic. I love the game. It was one of my, top 5, actually top 3 of last year. I was obsessed with it. Where was the creative decision for the comic to be almost like just an indirect relation, almost like a week later of her getting home? Where was the creative decision for that versus it being kind of its own standalone story in that universe?
This is kind of what happened. I was asked if I would like to write the Tomb Raider comic, and I said, no, thank you. I don't think I'm interested. But thank you anyway. And then I went and purchased the game. Okay. And I sat down and played the game, and I just fell in love with it.
It's amazing,
I
isn't
fell
it?
in love with how personal of a story it is, how much you get into Lara's feelings, and really want to help survive, and just everything. And Rihanna Pratchett did such a great job in the Crystal Dynamics team of doing that game. And so I called Dark Horse back. And I said, is that offer still available? Could I still write Tomb Raider? And they said, yes. And I said, okay, well, I want to.
Who's going to tell you no? I mean, come on.
Well, they could have found another writer by then. It was a little bit of time.
Yeah.
And then we sat down and talked about what this book was going to be and what it wasn't going to be and everything. And I really wanted to do it, particularly if it was going to be in canon for the Lara story, which is what we're doing. It, like you said, it starts right up where she left off in the game, and there's Easter eggs through the 12 issues leading to the next game, as well as being able to delve a little deeper into the characters, her character, as well as the supporting cast. Okay. And so that's what interested me, is like to be part of the creating of her story in between those two games, and to be able to add a little bit more character to her, a little more layers to it.
Now, how daunting was it? Because obviously Lara's been around, since I was a kid. I've played Tomb Raider. This is a reimagining, and it is amazing the way they've gone through. But how daunting was it to kind of go through that source material and decide where you were going to go with the character and where Dark Horses were going to go with the character?
Well, it wasn't daunting because I was a fan of the original Lara Croft, so I was familiar with that material, and I loved it. And so that was one reason why I was skeptical about writing the new Lara before I really knew much about it. And then after playing the game is when I was like, okay, this is very cool, and I like this version of her. And so it wasn't difficult at all after playing the game. And then because Crystal Dynamics, are available for questions, and Rihanna, who wrote the game as well, it was just a real team effort, making sure we keep everything in canon and keeping it correct, and all of the things that you would expect. So it's been really fun.
So one of the big things, and we talked a lot about video games, that I was getting on Twitter when we said we were going to get a chance to talk to you, was your love for video games. Besides Tomb Raider,
yes.
What is your franchise, or what are you playing right now?
I love all the Lego games.
The Marvel Lego, have you played?
Yeah, I've played them all. I love them all, and they're so much fun. And it was really, it's just so fun when you get in and I'm playing the DC Lego, and there's Wonder Woman and Batgirl and, various characters that I've written and I've loved since I was, forever. And it's just got a good sense of humor and a good look. And I don't know, it's something that really cleanses my palate when I'm writing. I can sit down and just enjoy it, and I don't have to think about anything, and it clears my mind so that I can actually get back to work. So it's actually, without video games, I don't know that I could be the type of writer
decompress.
that I am. Yeah, because I just have to have that palate cleanser.
Yeah. Well, you've obviously got a ton of fans lining up for you. I want to thank you again for taking the time to talk with Geeks and Wives and Capes. If I could get one last question, what is your favorite character to this day that you've written, that you've worked with?
That is such a difficult question, because I really have to find something that's my favorite when I'm writing them, or I can't really do the character justice. But I really love writing Black Canary. She's a character when I wrote her where she wears her heart on her sleeve. She's kind of out, open and funny, kind of witty, and I like writing that character. And I liked taking her from being just, Green Arrow's girlfriend, kind of, not really that powerful, into a really strong character that could lead the Justice League and be in all kinds of television series and cartoon episodes and everything. So I'd say Black Canary. At least if you're asking me today, that's what I'd say.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was very nice meeting you. You have your adoring fans.
Have a great weekend.